Morning. Oh, it's great to see you here. You're very welcome. It's a Wednesday. I know that because it's bin day today where I am, and very glamorous to know. So this is Megawatts Megachat, my second version of it. So I'm really glad that you've come to check it out. And likelihood is, if you're watching this, then you're someone that has a corporate career and you probably feel like a little bit of an outsider. And you're thinking, oh, how does she know that? That is how I feel. I know it because it's how I felt a lot of the time in my corporate career. Um, and when I was thinking this morning about what I wanted to cover with this share, I was kind of processing a dream that I had last night. I have a lot of weird dreams. That would be a whole separate podcast, Amy's weird dreams, but maybe for another time. Uh, but this one felt kind of relevant to this theme of like outsider in the office. So I'll just tell you a bit about it. I was sort of paragliding down towards quite a busy beach in Ibiza with a big crowd of people all kind of milling around on it. And I was sort of going over the top of them and down towards the edge of the sea. And that's where I landed. And my feeling was, oh my goodness, I've just paraglided. I was like, did anyone see that? And these people sort of had their backs to me. And I was like, oh. It was almost like they're kind of blanking me off. And I think that is one of those things is when you're on a path of kind of just being truer to yourself and learning about all these magical capabilities that we actually have as individuals, there are a lot of people who don't want to know about that stuff. So it can feel quite isolating. So you might feel like the one who's a bit like, oh, okay, well, I'm not sure what she's talking about. Or, you might feel like, isn't this obvious? I can see that this is going on in this room, whether it's like a dynamic between people in the environment, like a cultural thing quite often, or just like being able to read the energy of others around you. We call it being empathetic. So it is quite a common trait. And it can be quite costly in a corporate environment because there's almost like when you are that way, there's a certain amount of draining that can go along with that. So you might come home from the end of the day, or, even if you've just been working from home that day, but you've been interacting with others over Zoom and that kind of thing, you might feel drained and like a bit knackered. Whereas maybe your partner's been at their desk all day or something, and they're like, God, you haven't been anywhere. Why are you so tired? And you're like, I don't know. I just feel so tired. And it's real. So no need to gaslight yourself around that. There's nothing kind of weak or medically wrong with you. It's just that you are putting out more energy than others are when you're around them, if that makes sense. And that's because you've got so much to offer. So it's this natural optimism and ability to listen and problem solve and wanting to uplift everyone in the space, wanting everyone to be in that kind of place of, yeah, let's do this, and that, the others, even if they're not noticing or appreciating it about you, they are benefiting from that. So maybe that's something that you recognize in yourself. It's definitely my experience with working in team environments in particular. And it can be a bit unsettling because you think, well, why am I giving so much? And these others just seem to be kind of more just rolling with it. And there's loads of stuff that you're giving that is not necessarily being outwardly expressed as being appreciated or recognized, but believe me, if you weren't in that space or you weren't in that particular meeting or you weren't in the office that day, there would be a lack. A lot of people just want to get their heads down at the moment. And it's actually not because they're in a great place. It's kind of the opposite thing. What's happening is they're in like a sort of switched off space where they can't really process the extent to which they're even not enjoying or just kind of feeling downbeat. They don't want to look at that. They just want to like keep the blindfold on and or the blinkers like a horse, you know. Um, they are not ready to process any of this. So rather than kind of holding it against them, which is a natural thing to want to do if people around you are just not giving and are not being kind of cooperative with how they hold themselves and what they contribute. You know, maybe they're giving a bit of a minimum, they're kind of coasting, and you're like, oh, there's so much to be done, and you know, we can get through this together. It's like just letting them be as much as you can, giving them some grace, and also not picking up too much of the slack for them. You know, letting it be on them if they get picked up on it or if something gets missed. Um, Otherwise, you're just gonna like take yourself out. And that is not what's needed from you right now at all. So, yeah, you might be watching this thinking, goodness, I thought it was just me. But actually, it's really common to have people like you in an office environment who are those natural givers, uplifters, energy readers, because that's what you are. You might not have termed it in that way before, but you know, you are an energy worker. So take that on board. And if there's one thing that I can recommend to you to do as you go down this path, is actually to check in with yourself every morning as early as you can. And you probably think, oh, I already do that. You know, I have my nice latte or I go for a little stroll around the park, or you might think, yeah, I'm smashing it. Check in with yourself at an even deeper level. And the way to do that, and this is what I do every day because I'm the same. Like I pick up other people's energy, I read them all the time, I second guess them. You know, I give it out if I don't protect it. And I feel tired at the end of the day if I don't do this. So sit yourself down somewhere completely silent. This is not a walking situation, not even an outdoor situation. It's like a privacy thing, and sit on the floor if you can. I find that really helps, like cross-legged or however's comfy, and closing your eyes, really going into that state of how do I feel today? And not forcing yourself to feel good, not allowing that to be the only answer and the only acceptable state. Ooh, going a bit croaky. Maybe it's emotions associated with this. Yeah, so you check in, you just ask yourself, and you know, you might find like you can think about what was going on in your dreams or the night, because we wake up in a very different state each day. And you might, if you've got kids or you've got a busy morning routine, this might be what you do after that's been set aside. And you know, you pack them off to school, that kind of thing. I have to get my 6-year-old out the door. I can't really kind of get to this place. And once you've checked in, just allowing whatever state is coming up and checking in on any questions, fears, focus points for the day, allowing those to come up for you. And then just tuning into your body, how your body's feeling today as well. So, are there any aches or pains, any tension? And you're not trying to solve everything. You're not trying to look for miracle solutions or to move through it right now, but you're just giving your body the chance to communicate with you. And you might find that you address the things that come up during the course of the day, or you might not. You might just want to accept them for now and know that you'll look at them another time when it feels right. But at least you've asked. It's a bit like you wouldn't walk into the kitchen in the morning without saying, acknowledging the other person in the room. You'd say, hello, how do you sleep? How are you today? So you're doing the same for your body. You're just acknowledging it. And then a little bit of deep breathing can also be amazing. And people go into their own ways of doing that. Sometimes it's useful to have a video to accompany you, or just to take a few deeper breaths and be aware of kind of how you're breathing that day. And your mind might want to do a mental to-do list, a checklist of different things. It might want to go start having a chat with you about all the things that are wrong, or some of the things that are right even. Don't allow it to do that. Don't stay focused on any of the thoughts for too long. It's almost like a mirror in front of you where you're just watching them pass for these 5 minutes. And what you'll find is that as you start to kind of watch this movie of information, ideas, questions, and just allow each one to pass without getting kind of really into the nitty-gritty of it, is that the most important thoughts, feelings, insights will start to step forward and make themselves known to you. So it's clarity, really. That's what you're doing with this little self-check-in in the morning. And it might be that the most important thing is that you have forgotten to take the bins out. Or that, there's a meeting this afternoon that really matters to you and that you want to prepare the most thoroughly for. So it could be anything that comes through. So don't allow yourself to feel overwhelmed by it, but do trust that this little self-check-in has served its purpose. And you want to leave the check-in with some form of appreciation or positive gift to yourself. Let's call it that. So even if you know things are really full on, or you're not happy with where things are at in your world right now, it's just that little like, okay, well, I've got this beautiful house that I live in. Or it was so wonderful when I had a chance to pick my child up from school yesterday and she gave me a big hug. Or I love the fact that my partner has already given me my first coffee of the day. That makes me really happy. So a little bit of that, and then some protection. If you can just allow yourself to set the intention that you're going to protect your energy today. So you can imagine it as like a bubble, or a sort of golden shield, or a cloak, something that just protects this whole space around you so that you can give out what you want to give out to people. It's not about like holding everything into yourself, but you can also bounce off this force field anything that you don't feel is helpful to you or meant for you. So you can say, I protect myself energetically from anything that's not for my highest good today. And I don't allow anything into my bubble that is not going to benefit me, or any energies from other people that will not serve me. So whatever words, something along those lines, but whatever words feel right for you, with that image of some kind of protective space. And that's what I do every day. Every single day, and it just really tunes you in and helps you to navigate the challenges of being a sensitive empath in a busy, crazy corporate world. So, oh my goodness, I'm getting pins and needles in my right leg. It's not good, is it? Anything else to share for this morning? don't feel guilty about you being the more enthusiastic, energetic, or vibrant individual around others as well, because you can't hide the fact that you're flying. You can't hide the fact that you're tuned into certain things that feel good, and you don't have to drop your energy and your kind of level of how you feel just because there are others around you who really are not feeling that great right now. Doesn't mean you're like super in their face and like, hi, how you doing? You don't have to try and lift them up as well. It gets heavy and you'll get tired. But you can be happy, confident, optimistic, if you feel like it, even while they're focusing on all the negative stuff. Because they probably will do that, and they probably will try and dump it onto you as well, because you're a really safe space for them. So this little bit of boundary setting at the start of the day just keeps that in check, really, because it's not healthy for you and it doesn't help them. It just allows them to sort of temporarily offload onto you and to not face up to it themselves. Because if they've got an outlet like you and your kind of positive, safe, open space, and they keep feeding kind of whatever negativity or like darkness or upsetting stuff into that space without actually kind of holding a mirror up to themselves and processing any of it, it's not helping them either. They've just got an easy outlet for now with you there. So it's a pretty complex subject, but that's all I want to talk about with you for right now. And yeah, enjoy this wonderful day. Take care. Bye.